Hey folks, welcome back to Deer Corner. Welcome to the cabin. It's 6:35 right now. It's going to be another hot one today. And for years, I wanted to get a deer stand put back in this one area. And we finally are going to get to it. And everybody kind of changed the subject before, but the location of this stand is the issue. And we finally figured out how to get in it and get out of it. And the wind advantage. And every stand, whether it's a climber, a saddle, a ladder stand, a blind, a ground blind, or like they call them now, redneck tree stands, tower stand. Every stand has pros and cons. And a lot of your stand, the main con is weather. You're out in the elements. You're out in the rain, you're out in the snow. So you're in the elements and your comfort's just not there. And I'm getting to the age now that I'm not going to be climbing no trees. I'm done climbing trees. So tower stands are what we're putting up now and doing away with the rest of them. But this stand location, everything's got to be carried in. There's no roads, no trails. And even where we're putting the stand up, we had to clean a spot out to put it where it's going. But it is a very good location. It's a very good location due to the fact of the weather. The deer always move in that general direction during bad weather, whether it's snow, ice, rain. They're always moving in that direction. So placing the stand where we're wanting to place it took about a day to haul everything in. And took another day to get the legs in the ground and get the floor down. But to get the actual stand up and up in place only takes about 30 minutes. It takes longer to do everything else than it does putting the stand up. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll bring you along on this, and I'm going to put this stand together myself and show you just how easy it is, how we have these stands simplified now to go together out in the field. But the major thing is you got to carry everything into it. So I'll bring you along and hope to see you out there. Now, as I have previously mentioned, everything in this stand had to be carried in. Now each post is 2.5 feet deep with one bag of sackcrete around it. And then we put the platform up. Now the platform is 4.5 by 4.5. And that come up to, it's an odd size, but it comes up to be comfortable for bow hunting or gun hunting. And it's 5 foot tall. So it's actually easier to heat and maintain and take care of. And it makes a small roof, a small pattern. But location. I've wanted to stand in here for many years, but the location was so tough to get things to, we had to carry things in for a day. And then another day to put the post up and the platform up so it could set up. The actual stand to put it up actually took only 40 minutes. It was up and ready to go. I gave the thumbs up when I was finished. But there again, location. Make sure you do your pros and cons on all your locations for your deer stands. If you can't find access or entrance that won't jeopardize your hunt, you may have to find another location. And upon being on a proper location, your angle Now, I've heard people sit there and talk about with their climbers that they get so high they get a nosebleed. Well, I'm not much of a backbone shooter. I want good clean shots at a right angle. So there are times the tree you're wanting to go up just won't give you the right angle for a good clean shot. So not only location of a stand, you got to have location for your angle for a good clean shot. So before putting up a permanent stand, you have to look at a lot of pros and cons. Just don't go out and build one. And I've seen people talk about putting up a stand, and they're capable of, throughout the years, build a deer habitat around that stand, and that stand becomes a pretty good stand. To me, that's kind of backwards. I'd rather build a good deer habitat, make sure it's working before I put up a stand, because that's a lot of time and effort you're putting into something. But like I said, these are 4.5 by 4.5. They're prefab. We built them in the shop, screwed them together, pre-drilled the holes, and then take them out and put them up. And they're made out of marine plywood and marine 1x4s. And I put this stand up by myself. My son was standing back making sure everything's okay. But it took me like 40 minutes, but then 80 to 90 degree weather, you're out there. I took some breaks. I didn't do it all at one time. Now, the stand was up, and I had it up by 10:30 in the morning. On the next day, I had a couple young visitors already. And this little young 2-year-old doe and this young 2-year-old, 3-year-old buck come through grazing right in front of the stand, right in front of the camera. So it's going to show, even though they were young deer, it's going to show that the deer are still using this area even after putting this stand up a day later. So we got about a month and a half to go before deer season. And behind the stand is a valley, and in that valley there's a major deer rub area where they go every year. The deer are there every year rubbing on a tree. Another history, deer history there area. So this stand is either before it or after it. I haven't figured that out yet. But they do travel by here to get to there. And also this stand location. Foul weather. I've always seen through binoculars or something that through my scope that during a snow or ice storm or cold weather, deer always travel down this lane, down this area. You get down into the bottom. And there's plenty of food down there this year, plenty of cover. So, like I said, it's a hard location to get in and a hard location to get out. But we figured out a way to do this by going around the areas that we want to avoid, because we do have sanctuary areas here in the timber that we do not go in at all year long, unless we have to. Now the end of July, I would like to be out of the woods till deer season, but here it is now, the 19th of August. We're finished. We're finished with everything, and food plots are all put in. And if we have to replant, we can. We have time But as far as the deer stands go, we're finished. And we'll be out of the woods until October the 10th, opening deer season. Now, all my deer stands, we go with shutters now, awnings. I took all the windows out of my stands. Other stands I had windows in, I took them all out and went with awnings. I found out that with windows, one, it lets too much light in. It doesn't shadow enough inside the stand to cover you. And two, during bad weather, if it's raining or sleeting or snowing, you end up closing the window to keep it from coming in, or the wind. And I've missed several deer. Last year my son missed several deer because a deer would come by, and by the time you open the window and get ready, the deer's done gone. And you can't divert the wind. That's the key thing about these shutters. You can open and close them to keep the wind from blowing inside, and you can still see out. So we went ahead and changed all the windows out and went to shutters. Then when you're done, you can go ahead, shut them up, and lock it up. Now the only issue I really had putting this stand together was getting the roof up, because the rope got tied up. It wouldn't come off. And that's the only big issue I had putting this stand together. Location, angle, and enter and exit. Three key things in being a good deer hunter. And that's my opinion now. That's just my opinion. You can have a good food plot, but if you can't get into it or get out away from it with good stealth, not to spook the deer, that food plot's only doing good for the deer, but you can't hunt it. So, location, location, location. But I'm bringing you along on this stand build. I got 13 deer stands up. It'll probably be my last one. I doubt I put up another stand, but my son might, my grandkids might put up another one, but this is my last one. 13 of them's enough for me to keep up with. And that still gives me a lot of versatility to where to hunt and how to hunt the wind, how to hunt the weather. And mainly, in the last part of deer season, how to hunt the food. So, and if you also notice on my stands we're building, I don't have windows all the way around. I want to keep a dark shadowed area in the back so the deer really can't see movement that's being done in the back. If I had windows like on some of the other ones all the way around, deer can look and see movement inside the stand. I also back the stand up to mountain laurel or to a big oak tree or some sort of cover, cedar tree. So having a back window really wouldn't do me any good the way I put the stands up and put the back to the entrance to the stand, back it up to something. So it really don't do me any what good to put a back window in it. I'm pretty well finished with this stand right now, making sure the door opens and closes. And it's been actually a pretty easy build, all but the roof. It's finished. This is the outside view of what we're looking at or what we're hunting. And in front of it, that's a hillside, and it drops about 500 feet down. It starts going straight down. Once you get past that mountain laurel, it starts dropping off. And then to the right is another area where the deer come up that valley, back through there. But I'm glad you're with me. Go ahead and subscribe. Leave me a comment, and I'll get back with you. And like I say, you're in the woods, be safe. Rather be safe than sorry. And we'll see you.